My name is Ethan. Welcome to Lancaster Community Television Station. I'm here with Jamie Arroyo, a man who's a J.P. McCaskey alumni, Millersville alumni, and Drexel University alumni. How you doing, Jamie?
Great, Ethan. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you made the time. Let's start with the education from high school. That's where your humble beginnings begin, at J.P. McCaskey High School. May you tell me about the culture and your level of education classes you were taking there?
Yeah, definitely. So I graduated from McCaskey High School back in 2006. Back then, they had small learning communities. So I was in the college prep small learning community in McCaskey East. So a lot of the classes that I took, and some of my favorites included, the typical English and math, but social studies and communications were probably one of my favorites. But yeah, the culture there was a very diverse school. A lot of folks that had a lot of different backgrounds and came from many different places, which allowed me to learn a lot about different backgrounds from other people.
I remember they used to have AFS Day there, where it was almost 50 different cultures, and then there was also diverse staff, support staff, and there was plenty of people that came from our class, like Nicole Vasquez Taylor, Keandra Steffi, aka Keandra Bear, and many other people. And then you decided to further your education at Millersville University, and I understand you got awarded some scholarship money. May you tell us about the experience of attending Millersville University?
Yeah, so Millersville University was an easy choice for me. I wanted to stay close to home, and I also wanted to save a little bit of money. So going to Millersville University allowed me to do that. The cool thing about it was I won a diversity scholarship award from Fulton Bank when I was a senior in high school, which gave me a little bit of money for some books for school, but also gave me a part-time job at Fulton Bank, which allowed me to work through summers, winters, and actually I worked year-round there, come to think about it. So that experience was really cool, and Millersville University was an amazing school. I learned a lot there, got to meet new people, and going through that educational process was also very rewarding, since I was the first person in my family to go to and graduate from college. So there's a lot of pride that comes with that as well. So I was very excited to attend Millersville University, and whenever I get to go back, it's a pretty cool feeling.
I'm pretty sure you made your parents and your family proud the day you had that cap and gown ready, accepted your diploma, and you got your name announced. And pretty much, when you went through college, you were an entrepreneur at the same time by doing something that was against the norm in your family. Because I know in the Puerto Rican culture, back where the island is, there wasn't as many people going to college. But I do understand in America there's more opportunities and more growth. And speaking of more growth, you decided to go further with your education to Drexel University for your master's degree. I remember you was taking the Amtrak train back and forth to 69th Street, and then take that little walk straight to Drexel University.
Yeah, so the decision to go get my MBA wasn't an easy one, but I understood the importance and the value of education, and understood that if I wanted to not only have the skills and the credentials to move my career forward, I needed to make sure that I took go a higher level in education. But I wanted to go outside of Lancaster for that. So Philadelphia was close enough where I was able to attend a great school, but still allow myself to work full time. So I worked full time while I was getting my master's down in Drexel. So you're right, I would go a couple nights a week. I would take the Amtrak train down to Philadelphia, take my classes, and then head right back home. So I would get home probably around midnight, and then go to work the next morning. So it was a very challenging time for me, for sure. But the process of getting my education was very rewarding, or just as rewarding as getting the degree itself. So while, looking back, I, remember a lot of cool classes. I learned a lot there, but the process itself was probably one of the biggest contributors to my growth.
Yeah, when you got the MBA, that took you to a higher level, but also you got more recognition in the public eye as well. Because that's something else that wasn't done in your family as well. And you're starting to outgrow people along the way. And when you were taking that Amtrak, you probably was wondering, is this really worth going down here or not? Because that's a lot of money out of pocket but at the same time you got college discounts for being a college student riding the Amtrak. Now, when it comes to your hobbies and your strength, you run a lot around Lancaster City, and at the same time you're always involved with working out and doing these weightlifting contests. Oh man, yeah, I remember you did what's that thing called when you do the thing up a high?
That's called a clean and jerk.
Yeah, you did that. You also did the deadlift, and then you did the one exercise with the bars in the back. I think that's like a squat.
Yep.
And that's a lot of weight to put on your body. You must have went through a trainer for that.
Yeah, so one of my favorite hobbies is called CrossFit. So it's a functional training for exercise. There's also a sport level of it where you can compete locally. So I used to do some local competitions around the sport of CrossFit. Yeah, between CrossFit, I do some jiu-jitsu as well, and I love running. It's a great way to challenge myself physically to make sure I carry on those principles mentally when it comes to, my career and personal life as well. So I like to challenge myself in those different ways. I think it also helps build discipline, and also keeps me healthy. So when you're working a lot and you're doing a lot of things, you got to make sure that you're taking care of your health and well-being, because without that you won't be able to go far. So it's very important to me to make sure that I stick with that discipline.
I totally agree, because health is wealth. And from the way it looks, man, you look like you're ready to be your own personal trainer and start charging people by the hour. But then you have to go back to get your education for your certifications, and then you can open up your own. But I realize you already have a lot on your plate now. And speaking of that, you had a chance to meet the Hall of Famer, NFL linebacker, two-time Super Bowl winner, Ray Lewis.
Yeah, so I grew up a Ravens fan for football. So I played a little bit of football in high school and was a huge Baltimore Ravens fan. So the opportunity to meet, a legendary linebacker was pretty cool. But he's just like any other guy, and I think one of the benefits of meeting someone, we're people like me might consider legendary, it's also understandable that it takes a lot of work to get to a position like that, right? So how do we in our own life kind of mimic the discipline, the integrity, the mental toughness that it takes to achieve that level of excellence in their career? How do we take a little bit of that and apply it to ourselves? So I think that's one of the cool things about, meeting someone like that. It allows me to say, okay, what can I do that he does that, that will allow me to advance and be a better human.
From what I understand about Ray Lewis, he uses adversity, his pain, his hardships, and put it in the weight room, put it on the wrestling room, put it in the football room, film study. He channeled that anger, he channeled that energy in a constructive way, where he ended up going to the University of Miami, first round pick by the Baltimore Ravens, and since then, he's been legendary. And that's more about, it can relate to anybody. You have to channel whatever negativity you got going on into a positive solution. Because when you do that, you can look back on life and give these tools to somebody else along the way. And speaking of giving back, will you tell us about how you give back to the community?
Yeah, so kind of in, a few different ways. I work for Community Action Partnership, which allows me to focus my career on community development, but also sit on a couple boards of other nonprofits and try to volunteer when I can with other nonprofits. But quite honestly, when it comes to giving back to the community, I'm a big fan of the very simple things. So whether it's volunteering an hour out of your week to go play some basketball with some folks, or if it's picking up some trash around your neighborhood, I think those little things matter, and allows you to contribute to your neighborhood in a way that has actually a huge impact. If we all did a little bit of those things, you can see the ripple effect that it causes in the community. So here at Community Action Partnership, we do various things to impact the community, and I'm just grateful to be a part of it and dedicate my life and my time to be able to make our community hopefully a little bit better today.
Yes, I totally agree. A little goes a long way. And speaking of little goes a long way, in high school and college, you were getting plenty of support behind the scenes from your family, words of encouragement, words of affirmation and keeping you steady and afloat. May you tell me about those experiences?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I was blessed and privileged to, have my, parents really push me to work hard and, focus or put an emphasis on education. So constantly it was, letting me know that if I want to move forward, that education was going to help me do that. And also working hard. Anytime I wanted something, my dad was quick to remind me that in order for me to get that, you're going to have to work for it. And, kind of drilling that into me, from a young age over and over again, just kind of made me aware that, okay, this is, no matter what it is, it's going to take some work. It's going to take some sacrifice. And, it's allowed me to actually fall in love more with the process than the actual outcomes. So, I have a lot to thank my parents for when it comes to that type of mentality.
And I also understand that behind every great man, or in some cases, your situation, you have a wonderful woman that was in the background supporting you the whole time. She was there with you from your beginning stages to where you are now. And you have settled down, you're married, and you met the love of your life.
Yeah, so Lynette's had the opportunity. Well, I don't know if she would call it an opportunity, but yeah, it's been quite a journey. We actually celebrated 6 years of marriage yesterday, and 14 years together. So we got together when I was 18, my freshman year of college. And I've just been blessed to have someone that's been along with me for this journey. I'm a completely different person from when I was 18. I think we all are, but she's seen that growth in me. She supported me along the way and has been very vital to, whatever success I've been able to accomplish up until this point. And I understand that she's going to be very vital to me growing even more. And, she's not only my wife, she's my best friend. She laughs at my corny jokes, and it's a good feeling to come home every night and know that the person is going to love you no matter what, and whatever happens, whatever I do, she's someone that supports me and makes sure that I'm doing okay. So she's definitely a blessing in my life.
They say when you find a wife, you have a great thing, and for that situation, you're always going to have someone that's there for you from your highs, your lows, and transformations in your life, and also enter new chapters as you guys grow more and more together. And when you're so close to somebody, you know everything about them, but once they start growing, you got to hit the reset button and learn about that person all over again while still courting them and practicing the 5 love languages. Well, this is the interview with Mr. Jamie Arroyo. My name is Ethan, and thank you very much for your time, viewers. Take care.